What up, y'all? This is Patrick Hayes, and today I want to talk about a super powerful key for raising your vibration. Then at the end of the video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a practice that you can do to help implement this key. Now, the key that I'm talking about is the key of balancing your energy. And what I mean by that is balancing your relaxation with your intensity and basically bringing them into one expression. So intensity and relaxation is actually one expression. And how this helps raise your vibration is that the more you can be relaxed, yet still raise your intensity, raise your excitement, and raise your vibration, then the more that your body can actually harness that vibration and flow that vibration. If we're trying to raise our vibration to the point where we get overexcited and we tense up, that starts blocking our energy, right? And then this actually starts taking us into a lower vibration. Raising your vibration, if you look at all of the masters, whether they're martial arts masters or yoga masters, or whether they're extraterrestrials or angels, all of these beings have an extremely intense amount of energy. It's really powerful, but it's ultra relaxed at the same time. And the key here lies in the balance of the two. If we're expending a lot of energy out of anxiety or frustration or in putting too much intensity into something, then naturally we're going to tense up when we're doing that. So while you see all this stuff online about hustle, 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 like put in the work, it's like, yeah, that fire's good, but it's not good if it brings you to a point of tension, because that tension actually acts like a resistor on your prana energy. And then that prana that would be flowing, the chi that would be flowing through whatever activity you're doing, starts decaying out of your system and turning into electromagnetic energy as opposed to chi energy. So chi energy, prana or life force energy, is actually energy that's faster than the speed of light. But when it comes into the body, as the body restricts that energy, it spills over into electromagnetics, and then that's what's measured as the electromagnetic field around people, because that's actually measurable by scientific equipment. But the idea is to hold on to your prana energy, hold on to your chi, build your chi. This is what qigong is about. This is what yoga is about. All these different practices are about being able to completely relax into the movements and be able to harness that chi, harness that prana energy. And when you can harness that, meaning you're not resisting it, then you can start amplifying the energy. And as you amplify the energy, you can actually move faster and faster and faster and bring more and more intensity to something, but you're doing it from a relaxed space. One of the things that I learned really early on in life was that the more I learned how to relax, then the harder I could go on the other end. So people, you hear the term work hard, play hard. Well, what I found was that when I relaxed hard, then I could work harder. So it was this idea of, when I got off work, when I was done hustling or whatever it was, the quicker that I could get into a relaxed state and really just like let all the tensions go, the more my body could reboot, and then actually the harder I could go the next day, right? So it's this idea of the more that you can rest, actually the more intense you can perform. So the resting and the relaxing is just as important as the performance. But see, martial arts takes it a step further. It actually merges the two into one act. So you can think about anything that you could possibly be doing. If you have resistance towards it, if you have frustration, if your body is tensing up while you're doing it, then what you're doing is you're restricting the flow of your life force energy. So what you need to do is you need to take a breath and relax. You need to let the energy flow and do your best to find that balance point. So once you find that relaxation flow and you can move relaxed, then the idea is to start amplifying the energy. Now naturally, when we start amplifying energy, or when we have to rise to an occasion of a particular situation that's intense, and we have to try to meet that rhythm, there's a measure of anxiety or tension that comes up in our body and in our psyche. And that's just a natural part of learning. But mastery is being able to develop the capacity to rise to the occasion of these different circumstances and at the same time remain ultimately relaxed. This is why you see the martial arts master is being approached by all these people that are super aggressive, that are trying to hurt him, but he's sitting there completely calm, completely chill, right? And in that space, he has his most power because he's not giving his energy away. I made a video about energy leaks, right? Well, this video is kind of connected to that, but this is like not letting your energy leak, but actually amplifying your energy through relaxation. And this is really cool because this shows how paradox is a key component to one of these laws, right? One of the balance laws of the universe. Paradox is how we transcend duality, right? Because duality is this or that. There's two different sides, yin and yang, right? But paradox is finding that center point and balancing the polarities, right? So the paradox is that hyper intensity is hyper relaxation. And in fact, if you are too tense, then you're not going to be able to be intense. You get too intense and too tight, your intensity actually dies down because you start hitting your governor. So the idea is that actually the more that you relax, the more intense you can become. So when you think about this in dynamics of martial arts, and this is probably the best way for me to describe it because this is my experience with it, is that as you tensify when you're doing a move, the more tense you get as you're doing it, the more you stop the energy from flowing. But the more loose you get, actually the faster you become and the more energy flows through you. So the key is to take this philosophy and apply it to everything in life. See, we're often told you just got to work harder, you got to go harder, and you got to go more intense, and you got to hustle, hustle, hustle. But actually what it's about is it's about having that fire and that intensity, that drive to keep going and going and going and going. But it's about doing that from a gracious place. And when you do it from a gracious place, you stop wasting energy. In fact, your energy is so contained that it stops spilling and it goes directly to the act. And as a result, you don't lose energy. That energy is all contained within your energy field. So you don't get fatigued. And you can just keep going and going and going and going. You know, I used to wonder why people like Amma, the hugging saint, I used to wonder how she could just go like non-stop forever. She like never breaks. She spends like 20 hours a day just hugging people and traveling from one place to the next. And it's because she's been able to get into that holy, graceful flow. And when you're in that holy, graceful flow, you're not expending any energy. A martial arts master in the middle of a fight is expending very little energy because they're so balanced. Their energy is, they're so relaxed that they can completely wait for the actual moment when there's an imbalance in their opponent and just hit the tiny little pressure points they need to push them off of their balance. It's that simple, right? So the more relaxed we are, the more present we are, and the more we have that same fire and intensity of not giving up and being present. And it's like the intensity to be relaxed. It's like getting fired up about being relaxed. How can you get juiced up and amped up about just chilling out? And then applying yourself with that kind of energy. I'm super chill, but I'm hyper focused and I'm hyper available. And then giving yourself to whatever craft it is from that perspective, from that disposition. When you do that, then you become hyper aware in the moment. You become hyper present. And that hyper presence gives you the capacity to start seeing those little pressure points. You've heard the saying, gentleness moves mountains, right? Well, this is what it's about, right? Gentleness in presence gives you the ability to notice where the pressure points are. No matter what it is you're doing, there are certain pressure points. You can go, 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 and you can Viking something, and you can make it work that way. But you could also work more smart by waiting for the opportunity and hitting the pressure point. And that requires patience and relaxation, but it also requires the capacity for intensity because it takes intensity to be that present. See, this is where the paradox comes into play, right? The two polarizing sides become one thing. It takes intensity to be present, but it's a different kind of intensity. It's not a tense intensity. It's a relaxed intensity. And from there, you can find the pressure point and you can make a lot of things happen with a little bit of movement. Martial arts artists throwing someone across the room or hitting them in one pressure point and making their whole body seize up, right? So finding the balance between the polarities, coming into balance, right? Finding the center of the paradox, okay? Now, the practice that I want to share with you for how to do this is a simple one. And this is just to enter into everything that you do in a relaxed way and make that an intention. So before you start anything that you're doing, set a little intention. Make your intention this. Say, I intend to ease into this. I intend to relax my way into this. And I'm going to take all of the intensity, all of the vigor, and all of the drive that I have. And I'm going to focus that to my relaxation and to my presence in the moment so that I can be hyper aware of everything that's going on I can be hyper aware of my body, I can be hyper aware of my energy, and I can give myself to this action with extreme focus and extreme balance. And make that your ritual every time you start something. And what you'll start to realize is that in the very beginning at first, you'll start to move into it in a very graceful way. You'll breathe deeply. You'll feel the balance. When you feel the anxiety or the intensity start to come up because maybe it's something that you're anxious about or something you want to work towards, remember, take that intensity and then put that intensity towards the balance. And you'll notice that your balance and your focus will become more intense, but it won't tense up inside your body or your energy field. It will actually become focus. So it's a really simple practice. It's basically just setting that intention. But when you do this, you'll realize that you'll be able to do it for longer and longer every time you do it. You'll get better and better at staying balanced and staying relaxed. And then you start to realize that all that extra vigor and energy and intensity that was turning into tension in the body, it was like entropy, right? It was like, a car spends so much of its energy or expresses so much of its energy in the combustion engine into heat that it just turns into heat and it's lost because it wasn't used to propel the car forward. It's the same kind of thing. All that extra energy that was using just to be tension in your body starts being alchemized and brought into focus. And then you start becoming better at whatever it is that you're working on because you're taking all of your energy and you're focusing it on the actual craft that you're working on. So give it a try. Set that intention before you start taking action on things and let me know how that works out for you. So remember, raising your vibration has a lot to do with conserving your energy. The more energy you conserve, the higher you can raise your vibration. So do that by bringing balance to the yin and yang, or bringing balance to intensity and relaxation. So thanks so much for tuning in. This is Patrick Hayes. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Hit the bell button if you want to be notified when I release videos, and I'll talk to you next time. One love.